You see that? What's that say? Yeah, over 130 hours. Now, because of me having to stop and pause and take notes whenever something significant happens as I play through, those numbers are definitely inflated. But make no mistake, I mean, I bet some of you out there also have hit the century mark and beyond on your Rebirth playthrough.
Some of those hours are spent doing intricate rifle choreography during military performances, going on dates with various people at the Gold Saucer, and hearing all of the pent-up emotion between Cloud and his comrades. Beating up robots with umbrellas while Johnny clones rush to the rescue. And watching Palmer slap his ass in your face as he desperately attempts to become relevant to the story.
Those instances leave an impression to be sure. But the rest of the time?
You're wasting minutes of your life attempting the most precise way to pull out a jungle mushroom, jiggling it to and fro to see where the most resistance is. Who the hell cares? Rip that thing out of the ground! It'll all taste the same when you throw it in that pot. It's bad enough you have to use a chocobo and tediously sniff the damn plants out. You have to increasingly tug and prod these fungi every which way to make the most of this fetch quest. Why? Quests upon quests appear, sending you around the world. You get worn down. In fact, you're just trying to heal yourself after fighting horde after horde of monsters. And Cloud, he doesn't think that these older, roughed up benches are good enough for him anymore. In Remake, he was grateful just to get off his feet for a couple seconds. But here, he has to pull out a cushion. That battle-hardened ass needs pampering. Cloud flourishes this delicate pillow before taking his seat, as if he's a member of the royal family. These cushions are not free either. You have to spend gil on them, or use recipes and resources to craft them.
And look at that thing! That doesn't look comfortable.
We're talking about padding. This thing has no padding. It looks less dense and comfy than a friggin' whoopee cushion. Come to think of it, they should have put that in there instead. At least there'd be a bit of juvenile humor each time someone sits down and farts. You could even alter the sound depending on which character you're using. I can't get over the cushion's pathetic appearance. It looks like a flattened pancake or something. Here's this battle-tested, stubborn, hard-ass ex-soldier who won't stand to get some dust on his can. I know I'm nitpicking, but using a cushion every time adds seconds, and you'll be using these things a lot.
Imagine if you and I had these overwhelming standards when it comes to our comfort preferences.
I live in rural Canada. The ground is frozen until the 16th of May, but I can still rest on it if I'm off on a hike. It serves the same purpose. Sure, the ass gets a bit frosty, but I'll survive. For me, if I were to actually discover a stump to sit on, that is like premium bang for my butt right there. It's solid, sturdy, and won't give way. I'm a country boy, used to roughing it, and Cloud actually has a similarly backwoods childhood. Nibelheim is out in the sticks just as much as me. But nope, he's apparently too good for a worn down bench now. It boggles the mind. When you invite company over, do they pompously scoff at the state of your upholstery and refuse to sit down until a more suitable cushion is placed on top of it? No! When the weather's nice, I don't elevate myself at the prospect of just resting on a stump and have to pull out a cushion to make sure I'm better than someone else. My God! Another failure of Rebirth is how the padding completely saps the energy and momentum out of the story. It's like, whoa, there's this thrilling Keystone Arena fight! Ah! Oh, Kate Sith stole the keystone, and he betrayed the group!
Oh my god!
But instead of really building on this and getting the momentum to the endgame, you get holograms and notifications galore about all this other stuff you should probably do first, since you can't do it once you tackle the Ancient's Temple. Speaking of which, by the time you're done going through this 5-hour dungeon, the energy and anticipation you once felt going through the story setups has long since dissipated. There's lame puzzles where you flip the temple around again and again, trying to figure out the lay of the land, culminating in climbing vines, which is just as slow and tedious as it was 25 years ago in games like Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Add on some boring walkarounds with Aerith, where you have to stop and pray several dozen times every time a green dot appears, and 3 separate push the block orb thing into the obvious gap to inexplicably make a foothold or seal a hole. There's a kick-ass boss fight against a classic Final Fantasy villain, the Iron Giant, but even that is just a plot device to introduce that 3rd pushable block. Even the 6 trials seem to drag on into infinity. They're just slightly more detailed retellings of events that 99% of players already know or don't care about, especially Yuffie's. I never played through the DLC, so all this Sonon talk is completely lost on me. This abduction tortured looking guy, it just looks like a creepy Resident Evil fetish that I don't want to know any more about. Not a tragic flashback of a mission gone wrong, which I'm assuming that's what it is. Before I got to this, I was completely stuck here. What the hell am I supposed to do? I climb up and down and run around like a Spider-Man who's had one too many beers, parkouring back and forth for minutes, before I realized you can keep ninja dashing around the side of the skyscraper to find more pinwheels and speech bubbles. Is this the fun and excitement? Tifa's... Well, we've seen this a million times before. It's virtually unaltered and was already shown in both the original and remake. Every fan has seen this at some point.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of all of this!
Oh, see? Even Tifa's sick of going through this time and again. And Red's is dragged out so much that it falls flat. Sorry for the pun there, but it's just, yeah, we know this was awful and cruel. There's nothing added, except disturbing imagery that would be tough to watch if you're squeamish or very fond of animals, which means it's no good to anyone. By the time Aerith delivers what should have been an inspiring speech about the power of forgiveness and writing the future and stopping Sephiroth, even I just wanted to skip through the damn thing.
Pain and the anger we carry can make us stronger, but at what cost? True strength comes from our ability to forgive, making things right. It comes from ourselves, and not even Sephiroth will...
I just wanted to shout out,
Are you finished?
Yes! Thank you! At least the game knows enough about its rambling to become self-aware.
no, I'm not a monster. The extended flashback of young Aerith in the slums, desperately trying to find a compassionate soul in the worst possible area of a dystopian city, with almost all of us knowing how this is going to end.
I'm sorry, Mommy. I tried.
Mommy has to return to the planet.
If you don't shed tears here, you need to check for a pulse. This is certainly a worthy addition, as is Barrett's.
What's wrong, baby? You okay?
If a damn Whisper or Arbiter of Fate or one of those damn things offered him an option to just stay in this time and space for eternity, do you think he would have taken it? And for such a brief appearance, you can definitely feel the love he had for Myrna.
Wake up, baby. Wake up. Don't leave me. Not again.
And don't get me wrong, by and large, the quests are much better than Remake. You get less awfully dressed NPCs with no emotional attachment, and many more endeavors that shed some light on the main party. Barrett shares his stance on parenting with Cloud, for example, as you undertake a quest for the Junon mayor's son.
Loads of parents are like that, but I told myself I'd be different. I'd never keep my little girl from flying.
This is a very ridiculous quest, but I can't really get angry at it because they turned the Stamp Dog song into a techno battle theme that just reinforces the importance of levity and humor that is a true tribute to the original game. By the way, if you want to see a more light-hearted episode, check it out right here. One of my favorites is chasing the Gi warriors across Cosmo Canyon with Red. If you succeed, it sheds some light on just exactly what went down when Seto encountered those unfortunate souls who simply could not die. It's stuff that you won't learn just going through the plot as it's laid out.
Swayed were we by his courage and sincerity, but we chose to entrust with him our singular desire.
Others fail miserably, however. Leslie makes up one of the last batch of quests you can do, and he is still a melodramatic, emo, grunge-depressed soul. In the first game, you had to wade through feces and urine just to find a pendant that reminds him of his unrequited Jessie romance. Well, here, you head into an equally dismal dung heap down in the center of the earth to rescue an unnamed girl who is never even seen or named.
She's a prize? That's sick.
You have to fight one-on-one. It's tough. You gotta use each of your party members against Gus's army of illegal soldiers and monsters, all to help Leslie, who thinks that the next love of his life has been abducted.
It's just a hunch, but I think she might be who I'm looking for.
It sounds noble and everything, but it turns out it was just...
Different girl. Just a random tourist from Midgar.
Just a random girl from Midgar. Look at this! You don't even see her! She literally is represented by this text at the bottom of the box.
What an insult to, well, whoever that was. Whoever that little text represents. And what an insult to the player for wasting half an hour of their life on this. This is brutal.
Johnny, too, is still around, and except for that previously shown amusing cloned Johnny plot point, he doubles, or should I say septuples, his obnoxiousness, burdening you with ridiculous quests that force you to endure 7 extra Johnnies, complete with so much more of the obnoxious voiceovers.
Oh, that was pretty smart of me. No one knows me better than myself.
As you complete each part of the most mundane side quests ever. Go find suddenly appearing loot bags by zip lines across this tropical beach landscape, and then use some materials in your item transfuser to literally create a part for a boiler.
Oh, baby, this is it. That boiler is as good as fixed.
Making boiler parts. I mean, this is something that you would only have to actually worry about if you were involved, working in that industry, in real life. You're telling me they couldn't think of some other exciting side quest besides fixing boilers? That's not a fantasy Japanese RPG quest.
Then there's these what were they thinking quests. Does this look like fun? You wander around a barren Nibelheim mountain range, following robes that move 2 miles an hour. The game even encourages you to shove them as a means of making this slightly more tolerable. First of all, it just makes Cloud look like a rude asshole, and secondly, really? Is this the epitome of the Final Fantasy VII development team? You just follow them all over the map from place to place to place. And do they really deserve this? Robes are seen throughout the story tossing themselves from railroad tracks, drowning themselves, falling into mine chasms. Now, you have to follow them and watch them get killed by monsters? It does shed some light on the fate and backstory of characters you're introduced to earlier, like the calm innkeeper, if you finish the quest. But man, what a long haul this is! It doesn't improve much with others, like these life spring fountains, or fonts, as the game calls them. Before I get into this, yes, I'm aware that the cutscenes that show up in this quest are quite important. They reference Yuffie's DLC plights, and shed a whole bunch of light on Wedge and what he was up to in the hours before Cloud and company stormed the Shinra building. And it's nice that they actually confirm what happens to him with finality, unlike the bigger ending of the game, but that's something we can talk about soon, if you're interested. Anyway, to fix these font things, that awful Chadley character magically creates this robot out of virtual space, which somehow, for some reason, has to fight other robots, shooting fire, ice, and electricity at bad robots and big flan blobs that are part of a computer simulation, and that, somehow, has the ability to repair the life stream fountain.
What in God's name do Rock'em Sock'em robots have to do with the live stream? Where is the connection? How can you make a connection between those two things?
This makes no sense in any shape or form. And look at the amount of detail they stuffed into this random minigame.
A minigame that some players, maybe some of you out there even, didn't even know existed.
It goes all out. There's elemental properties, skills that you need to set for the spawning portal thingamajigs, and gambits. We're going that deep into strategy with this throwaway thing?
What is this? Final Fantasy 12? You know, the worst entry in the series, where you just assign gambits and then the game plays itself? I don't want that.
Your eyes just glaze over all of these commands and robot variations and actions because who cares? Just comment to their asses! 4 rounds of it and you'll never do it again anyway. So why invest yourself into learning all the intricacies of these robotic AI systems? It's just a myriad of text boxes that... wait. What?
What the hell is this? Assessing marshmallows?
It's giving me strategies about marshmallows? Why? What does this even mean? Dear God! I see stuff about robot deployment, elemental weaknesses, gambit commands. Nothing about marshmallows. The flans aren't marshmallows. They're jelly blobs, if anything. Fine, let's do it. I'll bite.
Let's assess these marshmallows. Jet Puffed brand, craft branded marshmallows. The original, yes, I'm learning. There's 400 grams of fattening balloon-shaped marshmallow things here. This is actually pretty informative here. We got a recipe. Yeah, there's recipes on here. Choking warning, that's important, yeah. Choking hazard for children under 4. Under 4. How old am I? I'm 30-something. That means I can't choke.
Disclaimer. Anyone can choke on marshmallows, especially the full-sized ones. Do not attempt to scarf down fattening snacks in the manner presented here.
I assessed the marshmallows. Okay, I tried to assess them. This is much more fun than the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth version because, yeah.
There! How's that? Did I fulfill the requirement? No? Well, I'm sorry. Assessing marshmallows wasn't as fun as eating them. I still wager I provided more entertainment than this. Some padding seems to exist for no reason except to extend the time. There's some supremely lame puzzles that make Cloud push Mako vacuum cleaners around.
Mako gas levels reduced by 70%.
What was Square thinking here? They took a mundane, real-life chore that no one enjoys and put it in Rebirth. Several times, I might add.
And then, just like in real life, the vacuum cleaner's cord isn't long enough, so you have to piss around and open doors and push it 100 meters just to make it work. In the Shinra mansion, Aerith, Kate Sith, and Barrett get captured, while Cloud and the rest are literally waiting forever for them. It's just a confusing cluster of cat rolling through ducts, combined with awfully implemented crate tossing, with controls that make you swear out loud, having to change the elevation and power of your throws. And what is this? Why would a Moogle throw unlimited boxes at switches? You waddle around at 2 miles an hour, searching for things to chuck crates into. Here, you're apparently supposed to destroy a huge iron pipe mechanism with a 3-foot square fragile box? Why? This is padding to the max. It doesn't end. You then have to throw multiple boxes onto an elevator to make the weight sufficient before riding it. And there's no plot revelations. It's just an escape quest. The dialogue afterwards confirms how absolutely useless this whole endeavor was.
Hey there.
So, find that terminal?
Let's just say we got a little sidetracked.
Well, we can but try again. No sense chewing on past mistakes.
Right.
What's worse, they artificially and pointlessly extended scenes that old school gamers had memorized. What did you do when Sephiroth asked you to close the valve in the original? You walked a few steps to the left and closed the valve. It took 3 seconds. Here, you have to leave the entire room, find this huge ass valve handle, and excruciatingly slowly turn this rusted contraption 3 times. And it rusts and gets slower by the second until the whole system finally ceases to operate. The haptic feedback is cool and all, but I've timed it. It takes almost a minute and a half to complete. Honestly, did this valve closing sequence really need to be enhanced and elaborated this much? You wander around Junon's mountainsides and wake this lazy-ass guy up. A guy who looks like he lives in the same cave as the Mithril Man from the original Final Fantasy VII, who was also sleeping. What a weird reference. Too bad instead of the legendary Mithril, his big concern is driftwood.
Yeah, driftwood. That's fun, right? Oh man, such a mystical, otherworldly item that can only be found in Final Fantasy. Driftwood.
I thought I'd use some common sense first. Like, hey, look out on the horizon, there's a shipwreck out there with some wood drifting on the waters. But no, dumbass, duh, you have to go get a chocobo, then you sniff it out underneath a gravel pit. Not into that? Okay, let's make you ride a chocobo for hours collecting dozens of flying flowers, so the new chocobo sage can create whatever drugs he must be on.
I kid you not. It'll cure whatever ails you.
Great use of our time. Speaking of chocobo missions, you need to complete a minigame to tame each type. And while they start out very cute and fun, it becomes more tedious and annoying as they go on. You're crawling around slower than sludge, hiding behind carts and rolling around in minigames that fail to generate any excitement. This last one just about made me throw my controller. You have to climb up half a mountain and throw a bunch of bait to lure this blue chocobo across the field to a spot where you can sneak up on it. And you gotta get it pretty damn close too. Oh, come on, I threw the bait. Come on, you stupid bird. And as you're doing this, shrubs magically shrink and grow to block your progress, so you have to time it perfectly. Even if you get the chocobo moving along, if the shrubs grow back and slightly touch it, it retreats, and you have to keep attempting what you've already done. God damn! Get over there! No! Ah, damn it. Sometimes I'd get right near the end, but the bird just escapes. In many different fashions. What? Come back! What am I supposed to do? The only time I did it right, I broke the rules and went down to the base of the hill. This one made absolutely no sense. The loot excursions with the birds are even worse. Identical tedious exercises in watching magical blue beams appear and following them. Sometimes though, they are abysmal at letting you know where to go. Like here, it looks like it's sending me off a cliff. But when I get there, I don't even check the right spot. But oh, lucky, I found some mithril treasure anyway. Look at this! I can't just destroy a stone pillar. Where do I go? Chocobo's nose must be broken. Dungeons like the Mithril Mine have elevators broken, ladders broken, forcing you to always take the longest possible route to get to where you're going. Cloud and company have been shown to be capable of incredible jumping feats. But here? No, it's just too tough. Better off to slowly push a minecart half a mile down a track so we can clamber up there. The party often splits up, making you have to do double the work, going back and forth constantly, making us watch a one-armed man clamber up a rock face to find an exit, I'm presuming? Are we having fun yet? Is it any better now? They try justifying it as you create makeshift bridges with Barrett's knowledge of construction work, while Cloud and company stare blankly at the cave walls for an hour or so, but it's padding upon padding. Then there's these photo quests, which sometimes are inexplicably vague. Even the in-game tutorials admit how poor these maps are that you're supposed to follow, like Gongaga's weapon designer sending you off to find resources with these crummy photographs. It's an overgrown jungle! Everything looks the same. I don't know the difference between one lush tropical tree compared to the next. Every path looks similar too. I mean, you get these photos, but it's a total crapshoot of where you're supposed to look. When you finally find the place, you see how far away it is from the beginning. I mean, this is just a total shot in the dark. No one likes to keep stopping to look at these photos, but so many quests use this. You do it in Costa De Sol, looking for stupid cactuar art. They may be almost off the property, or a minuscule graffiti tagged on a fire hydrant, all while people make you think you should be finding it easily.
Come out, little cactuars!
I swear I saw one of those cactuars hidden around here just a minute ago.
There's more to be had at Cosmo Canyon, as you venture forth to find Lifespring sites too. These photo quests are never ending. One later quest has you sailing around a legendary map to find what's supposed to be an amazing accessory. You have to fight 4 of these tough pirate guardian monsters. And what do you get? A very blah attachment that mostly serves as another treasure hunting gadget to find more resources, which was pointless from the start, because you can easily spot those bright purple glowing flotsam in the ocean from a mile away. You can do that beforehand too, you don't need the compass for that at all, which means it's a worthless accessory.
But maybe you found more worth in Rebirth's quests than I did. Was the filling just a big bloated cactuar? Or was there a beautiful, gushy inside that just kept you coming back for more? Please let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you want more in-depth video game content. Take care of yourselves, gamers. It's always good to see ya.